Alright, so we are back with episode 3 of the Book of Boba Fett. And man, what an interesting one this one was. And I won't lie to you guys, as soon as I saw the episode was 39 minutes long, just like the first episode was, I was kind of getting a little worried as to what could happen in this one. But I'll tell you right now, I was surprisingly shocked as to how much we did end up getting in this very episode for just 39 minutes, including the credits, of course. So we basically start off with Boba learning the lay of the land by being shown how Mos Espa is split up through various groups and how it was run under Bib Fortuna, who is now dead, of course. He then gets paid a visit by somebody who requests that he helped him out by ridding a biker gang from stealing from his water, since no one seems to respect him and there's no work to be done. And so he helps this man out, he pays the man back, and he gives this biker gang some work to do by working for him. And so that's kind of the first 10 to 15 minutes of the episode. And I won't lie to you guys, at first when I saw these people on screen, this biker gang, I was kind of taken aback by their looks and their appearance. But then the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I felt like I had seen characters like this before in Star Wars books and comics and graphic novels. And then it doesn't really shock me at all that I would see a character like them in Star Wars. I mean, just by the way they look and the fact that they are basically cyborgs who use robotics to help give themselves a better advantage when committing crimes. So kind of like Terminator in Star Wars, if you want to put it that way. We now get to the part of the episode where, as soon as it happened, I thought to myself, oh yeah, I don't know if people are going to like this or not. And what I mean by that is that we are going back into flashbacks as he recovers in his Bacta tank. And, I've seen a lot of people say that they are getting sick and tired of the flashbacks and that they want to move on. But actually, when I saw this flashback, I felt like it actually did kind of help. We see Boba leaving the Tusken camp on a bantha to go off on his journey now that he has been ordained into their culture and their tribe. And I don't know which town he goes into, but in that town there are the Pikes, like how we saw in the last episode. And he tries to cut a deal with them, but another biker gang is in the way of that. It seems that he was going back to the camp at first, and that's when he sees smoke in the air. And as soon as I saw that smoke in the air, I knew exactly what it meant. I mean, let's be real here. I knew exactly what that meant. Get your tissues ready because, yes, the Tuskens are dead, including the head chief from his tribe that he was a part of. And we see that it was the result of that biker gang that he beat up in the last episode at the bar, and I assume the same one that the Pikes were referring to. Now, one character we did not see that I have a feeling will return was the head warrior from the tribe. We never saw a body, so who's to say that he or she is really dead? I mean, come on, let's be real. If any one of those Tusken Raiders survived, it was definitely that one. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we get to the best part of this entire episode, and something I not in a million years would have expected to happen, but we cut back to real time, and we see that Boba's Bacta tank opens, and out comes of nowhere Black Chrysanthemum, throwing him around and beating the hell out of Boba, taking him by surprise. I loved everything about this fight because not only could Chrysanthemum take every punch and every stab and every blaster shot he took, but in the end, he was able to take everybody on. Boba, even with the help of the biker gang he employed, and Fennec and the Gamorrean guards, he stood strong. But in the end, he did lose the fight and was captured. And soon after, weirdly out of nowhere, I think the next day, Boba is visited by the two Hutt twins who have now tried to assassinate this man twice and failed miserably. And they've come to tell him that they are planning to leave the planet and that they want nothing to do with it anymore. And I think the reason for this is because of the fact that they probably tried to take control by assassinating him, but in the end they realized that they couldn't do it, so they gave up and now will leave the desolate rock of the planet to him now. And in exchange, as an apology, they give him a Rancor trained by none other than Danny Trejo. Like, what? Who here would have thought that was coming? I mean, I know a lot of you will probably not know who that actor is, but for a lot of people in the film community, they'll know exactly who that is. And as a part of this exchange, Boba releases Chrysanthemum, and this is where I was kind of confused because after last week's episode, I had learned that in the comics and in books, Chrysanthemum and Boba knew each other because, of course, they are both bounty hunters, and it seems like the way they are treating the both of them in the show, they act like they don't know each other, and so I don't know if that is just the way that they are being directed or if that's just them retconning all that stuff from the books and the comics, which would be very strange. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of hoping they don't do that. And so, but Boba lets him run off. He lets him run off and he lets him go. And I was kind of laughing to myself because I was just like, wait, how is he going to get off the planet since he was the one employed by the Hutts and they're leaving? And now they don't want him anymore. So I don't know. That last scene right there was a little weird, and I am sincerely hoping that that is not the last time we see that character, and that he comes back in some way. Because me personally, I think that would be a grave mistake. He has now become one of my favorite on-screen characters, just in the matter of being in 2 scenes already. We then get a scene between Boba and the Rancor and his trainer in the Rancor pit, and we learned that these beasts are basically very loving creatures if you treat them correctly and don't threaten them. So in hearing that Boba wants it trained and he also wants to ride it. And let me just say something right now. If we see Boba riding a Rancor in a battle in this show, then I would have nothing but respect for this man. I mean, you could do absolutely nothing to him for me to not like his character at that point. We also learned that the mayor has been doing some shady stuff, and so he and Fennec pay him a visit, and we find out that he is not there anymore, and so his right-hand man tries to escape his way out of the situation by literally escaping away in a speeder, and Boba orders his biker game to track him down and stop him. And now, the only critique that I'll say I have with this particular sequence is that on the screen, when you're watching it, it did feel very clunky and slow, and I understand that riding through a more densely packed town that doesn't give them a lot of room, but I felt like it could have looked a little better. So they managed to stop him, and he reveals that the mayor is working with the Pikes, which definitely changes the game a whole lot. I mean, back at Jabba's palace, Fennec tells him that this basically means that a war could be on their hands, and so Boba, he's basically like, yeah, and we'll be ready. We'll get ready because we're going to war with them. And so I think that's really cool, the fact that we could see a literal war. And so right there is the end of the episode. That's the end of episode 3 of the Book of Boba Fett. And I won't lie to you guys on this either. I have a feeling a lot of people are probably not going to like this episode, but at the same time, we'll probably have liked it a lot more than episode 1. And even when saying that, I'm still hoping that people can stick on board with the show, because for me personally, I'm still there with it. I do want to see where this goes for the last 4 episodes, and I understand if the showrunners want to tell the story in their own way, but I would really hope that each episode is a little longer through each of the next weeks. And so, yeah, I really like this episode. I didn't love it like I did last week's, but it still is for me continuing a good trend of keeping me on board. And so I am looking forward to next week's episode. And so that is going to do it for this week's review and breakdown of the Book of Boba Fett for episode 3. Let me know what you guys thought about it down below in the comments section. And as always, if you like this video and you want to see more, please hit that like button. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe for more and turn on that notification bell. And also, please do share this review with anybody else. And so I will see you guys all in the next episode. Peace out.